The games where you have to escape from a haunted mansion or from a monster are usually represented by the survival horror genre. The plot usually tells the story of a character who needs to solve puzzles or fight his way out of a dangerous place, more often than not full of ghosts, zombies, or other types of threats. Because there is more to the term of escape game than just a simple room escape scheme, we thought compiling a list with the best 10 gaming titles that make you run for your life would be a welcome idea. A first-person shooter, Escape from Monster Manor has the player stroll through a haunted mansion where spiders, spooks, and other horrors must be defeated in order to find the way out. Collecting the pieces of a sacred talisman in each of the game's stages and ultimately making it out through all of the 12 levels are this game's key objectives. The main developer of the game cited Wolfenstein 3D as the chief inspiration, and they concentrated on creating a title especially for the Panasonic 3DO console. Being associated with the Saw film series, the game is set between the first and second film. After he was healed from a gunshot wound by the Jigsaw killer, Detective Tapp has been placed in an insane asylum to be taught a life appreciation lesson. The primary goal of the game is to traverse the asylum, solve puzzles, disarm traps, and eventually manage to get out. The player has the ability to search toilets and corpses to find items like weapons or clues that can help him fulfill his objectives. Minigames are a major part of the game, and they intensify the puzzles and challenges that have to be completed. A group of high school students are trapped on an island by their schoolmaster, Monom Kuma, a sentient stuffed teddy bear. For them to be able to leave the island, a student needs to kill one of their peers and avoid being caught in the subsequent investigation and trial. If they can find out who the murderer is in a class trial, the criminal will be executed, but if they make the wrong supposition, then the killer is free to go while everyone else is sentenced to death. The entire search for evidence leads to new and unexpected facts that reveal how the main character of the game, an amnesiac boy, is in fact trapped inside a virtual reality program. Based on the eponymous Japanese horror film, Sweet Home had a big influence in the development of Resident Evil, both of them being created by Tokoro Fujiwara. Trapped within a maze-like intricate mansion, the 5 characters available can go solo or be grouped together into teams of 2 or 3. Each of them possesses a specific skill and a unique item, such as a lockpick, the player needing to switch between the characters to be able to work the best possible combinations that'll help him escape the mansion. A survival horror game and the 4th installment of the series, Silent Hill 4: The Room, is set in the imaginary town of South Ashfield and follows Henry Townsend as he tries to escape from his locked-down apartment. Shown through a first-person perspective and containing a single save point, the flat is the place where most of the gameplay happens. The other areas of the game being reached through holes formed inside of the room. Silent Hill 4 accentuates combat during gameplay, the player having access to various melee weapons but only 2 firearms. More complex puzzles are replaced with simple item-seeking tasks. In this open-world survival stealth video game, players need to stay alive despite the threatening robots dressed as Victorian gentlemen that try to track them down and kill them. Also, another goal is to manage to escape from the island you got stranded on with these murderous machines. Scavenging towns for food, weapons, and parts of an exploded machine are sure ways of surviving and ultimately leaving the isle for good. The environment is procedurally generated, so every time you play, a different landscape will be generated, thus ensuring a high degree of replayability. Tie-in prequel to the futuristic film with the same name, The Chronicles of Riddick: Escape from Butcher Bay is a first-person action and stealth video game. The anti-hero Riddick is seen as he attempts to escape from a maximum security prison, and the developers wanted to explore more of his character in a prison break setting in order to differentiate the game from the movies. It is played mainly from a first-person perspective, and the player can use improvised weapons such as shivs and clubs to fight his way out of Butcher Bay. Short for Playable Teaser, PT is a first-person psychological survivor horror video game directed and designed by Hideo Kojima, in collaboration with film director Guillermo del Toro. An unidentified character wakes in a haunted suburban house and experiences supernatural manifestations. The only available areas that can be explored are an L-shaped corridor with 2 adjacent rooms, a bathroom and a stairway that leads into the room where the player starts a loop. The only actions available are walking and zooming, and to progress, the player must examine terrifying events and crack obscure puzzles. Each time a loop is effectively finalized, changes appear in the corridor. A survival horror game set in 1920s Louisiana, where the player has to find his way out of a haunted mansion. The sole way of escaping is by solving puzzles, and at the same time banish, slay, or elude numerous ghosts and monsters. The player can collect and use weapons, manage a weight-based inventory system, and explore a partially non-linear map. Released in 1992, Alone in the Dark received critical acclaim, being the first 3D survival horror game and a forefather of the genre. 4 other installments continued the series, and 2 movies were based on its story and overall atmosphere. The absolute king of the survival horror genre, Resident Evil tells the story of 2 members of an elite task force known as s.t.a.r.s, who are trapped inside a mansion infested with zombies and other monsters. The player can take either the role of Chris Redfield or the one of Jill Valentine, and the objective of the game is to uncover the mystery of the mansion and ultimately escape alive. Resident Evil establishes many conventions seen later in the entire series, some of them being the control scheme, the inventory system, and the use of 3D models superimposed over a pre-rendered background. Also, a high-definition remaster of the game was released in 2015 for modern platforms. This was our list highlighting some interesting escape games, and we hope you've enjoyed our video. If you did, please press that like button, as we do appreciate it and it helps us immensely. We often ask our audience for suggestions to compile these lists, and if you'd like to contribute, please follow Frag Hero on Facebook. You can also post other interesting titles in the comments below, because we do read pretty much everything. Now would also be a great time to encourage you to subscribe, because we upload new stuff all of the time, so subscribing will keep you up to date with all of our latest videos. You can also check out fraghero.com for more gaming related articles, but until next time, thanks for watching and have a great day.